So the film begins with a scene of a man swimming in the sea. He notices an old trunk. In the meantime, the box is opened, and stuff comes out. That was a mask that was green in color. It comes on the surface of the water. Here the scene cuts. We see a man whose name is Stanley. He was doing a job in the bank. He informs his female employee that he has 2 tickets to a particular location and asks if she would want to accompany him. That girl replies that my friend enjoys going there and has purchased these tickets. Can you please give me both tickets? Stanley was innocent and he gives her tickets. He doesn't go himself. When that girl leaves, his friend comes there. He says that everyone is mean to you. Why don't you understand? They were talking. Meanwhile, a female customer comes into the bank. She tells her name, Tina. She puts her bag on the table and starts talking to Stanley. She asks him to open an account in the bank. Now, this girl was looking mysterious because we see a hidden camera in her bag. She was capturing the surrounding of the bank from the hidden camera. The people who want to rob the bank or to keep an eye on the bank people do this. In fact, it was true. Her friend asks her to do this because he wants to rob the bank. But Stanley doesn't know this. That girl seems attractive to Stanley. He goes to his friend and says how beautiful was she. His friend says to leave it, there is a party at night, we will go there. Stanley suddenly remembers that his car is out of order. When he goes to the car repairing shop, the men say that we can't fix your car right now. If you are in hurry, take my car. Now unwillingly, Stanley takes their car. Its condition was worse. Well, Stanley reaches the place which his friend told him in that car. But as he reaches there, he was not allowed to go inside. The guards have recognized him that we didn't invite this kind of people. Here, he feels insulted and he returns in that damaged car. But on the way, after reaching the bridge, that car stops. Stanley comes in anger out of the car and stands outside. What can he do at midnight? He sees the water. He feels like a dead body is swimming. Stanley was a good-hearted man. So he says that I will go inside the water and sees that maybe he is alive. He instantly goes down, but it was not a dead body but a pile of junk. It was seeming like a dead body. But the good thing is that he finds the green mask there. The mask which we see at the starting of the movie. Stanley takes that mask to his home while thinking that it is unique and antique. Stanley also has a dog in his home. But as it sees that mask, it starts barking. As animals feel something about the creepy things, the behavior of this dog was like this. Now Stanley was standing in front of the mirror with the mask. He says that let me wear it, how it looks on me. As he wears that mask, it sticks with his face. It wasn't removing and it feels like it is merged with his face. Because Stanley's face turned green. He starts doing strange actions. He starts dancing and moving speedily. Stanley was in his apartment, but when he comes out of his room, a lady gets scared after seeing him. Even that lady also wears a green mask. But she was caring about her skin and Stanley was looking dreadful. She was about to shoot him, but he jumps from the window while jumping like a bouncing ball. Stanley becomes funny now. After reaching the road, he comes in front of a car. The driver honks the horn to signal him to move away from his vehicle. Then we come to know that Stanley has a lot of valuables in his pocket. He takes out a small horn-like ball. It was feeling that he will horn slightly. But when Stanley presses that horn, it was so loud that the mirrors of the car break. It was so loud that his hair also becomes like spikes. Stanley thinks to go to the car repairing service. Because Stanley was insulted because of the car which they are given. He goes there and turns everything. He does a lot of destruction there. Then he returns. He returns home and then sleeps. Obviously, he has done so many weird tasks. He maybe gets tired. The next morning when he wakes up, his face was normal. There was no mask on his face, and when he sees into the mirror, he remembers something. That what has happened at night. He says that no, it may be my dream. Meanwhile, it knocks on his door and there was a police officer outside. He was asking him that, do you remember? What has happened last night in your apartment? That lady was also there who tried to shoot him. She was telling that a man with green mask was there. He was scaring me and he was very dreadful. Stanley knows that it may be he. But he says to the police officer that no, I haven't seen anybody. I was sleeping yesterday. Now when that police officer goes, Stanley comes to his room and he says while holding the mask that it made me do weird things. Let me throw it outside. When he throws a mask and goes outside from his room. Then the mask comes inside itself. Then he goes to his office. And the bank management was aggressive with him. That why you come late today? Stanley says that I couldn't sleep properly at night. But even then the bank management says ill to him. He returns home and becomes worried. He also has a piece of newspaper. On it, there was news in it that the girl who visited his bank is a singer in a bar. That bar was at that place where Stanley's friend called him, but he was not allowed to go inside. Now Stanley says that I will go to that bar at any cost. But it was not possible for him to go there because he can't afford the pass of that place. Stanley sees at his sofa, there was that green mask. Stanley thinks that maybe this mask knows the situations of my life and it is here to help me. And I couldn't throw this mask even if I want to. So why don't I try while wearing it? Stanley again wears the mask. His face again turns green and then he changes his clothes and reaches his bank so that he can steal the money to the pass of that place. And also that car due to which he was insulted. Because the world gives preference to the rich. Stanley arrives at the bank, but then the friend of Tina also arrives. Some companions, they were about to rob the bank tonight. They were taking some measures outside that how to rob the bank. Meanwhile, Stanley comes outside while breaking the mirror of the bank. He says to them that you are late. You can't rob like this, and he runs from there while saying this. He runs speedily that none could see him. Then the police arrive there. The police start investigating the companions of Tina. The police think that they have robbed the bank. On another side, we see Stanley, who has arrived at the bar and has a luxury car. He comes out and meets with the security of the bar. He gives them a lot of money and then comes inside the bar. Tina was dancing there. He goes near Tina and starts dancing with her. Tina was also enjoying dancing with him. Because she feels that he is rich. Then the friend of Tina, whose plan was to rob the bank, he arrives there. He informs his friends that the man dancing with Tina has committed a bank robbery. They all start shooting Stanley as a result of that. However, because he was jumping quickly, no bullets were fired at him, and the police arrived. Tina's companion is told by the police that at first, we saw your companions outside the bank. We spare them and now you are doing these things in the bar. To shoot people like this and put their lives in danger is huge violence. The police arrest them. The police say that if it will prove that you didn't rob the bank, we will let you go. So the friend of Tina means the leader of the gang, who was there to rob the bank. Yes, it will be proved when you will get proof against this green-faced man. Then the police see that there is a piece of Stanley's tie. When the police officer notices the tie, he realizes it belongs to Stanley. Perhaps he's here after robbing the bank. He suspects that Stanley is not that rich to come to this club. He becomes suspicious of him. He goes to Stanley's apartment and asks him that Stanley, this was your tie. And you tell me that how you go to the bar? You are just an ordinary bank employee. Stanley says to him that I didn't go to the bar, I was also searching for my tie. It was stolen. When Stanley goes to his bank, his boss again becomes aggressive with him. Stanley says that don't be aggressive with me, otherwise, it will be bad. Then Tina comes to the bank to meet Stanley. She asks Stanley that you meet many people every day. Do you know a man whose face is green? She thinks that he has painted his face green. Stanley doesn't tell her the reality and he says, yes, I know that man. If you say, I will let you meet with him at night. Tina becomes happy and done the time and place. When Stanley goes home, he thinks that I have to find about this mask. He goes to a man who has much information about masks. He tells him that there were some gods, but one of them wasn't serious. He was very naughty. He wasn't mature, and then according to his character he was given a mask and terminated from that place. Maybe it is that mask because it is also seeming very old. Stanley says not maybe, it is. Do you know? Whenever I wear it I turned into something else. Now it was the daytime when Stanley wears that mask. He didn't change. That man says to Stanley, don't waste my time. Then Stanley understands that maybe it works when I am alone. Or maybe at night. He leaves from there because it was night and he has to meet Tina. He was thinking that, thank God I didn't give daytime to Tina. At night, Stanley wears his mask and reaches that place to meet Tina. But then the police arrive there. Because they were keeping an eye on him. The police surround them, but Tina gets scared and runs from there. And Stanley freezes himself. But being funny and immature, he doesn't know that he is visible to the police. And they also have surrounded me. The police hold him and Stanley shouts while seeing them. A funny shriek. With that shriek every part of his skull comes out. He does his funny magic. Due to it, the police start dancing with him. Somehow hardly he comes to another side of the street and puts off his mask. He becomes the normal Stanley again. Meanwhile, a girl was passing from there in her car. She was Stanley's friend. She sees Stanley being scared. She makes him sit in her car and takes him. From there. She was a reporter. Stanley was a pure heart, so he tells everything to that girl. Do you know I have a mask? It is a magical mask and I turned like this after wearing it. It has happened, that's why the police are chasing me. When that girl knows everything, so here the story takes an awkward twist. In fact, that girl was deceiving Stanley. She was with Tina's robber gang. Tina's friend has given money to that girl for bringing Stanley here. In return, you will get a heavy amount, so she does the same. Now they torture Stanley and hanged him. Tina's bad friend asks Stanley that tell me how this mask will work? If you will not tell me, you will be killed. Stanley says leave me and wears this mask on your face, it will work. As that bad man wears that mask on his face also turns green. But now he was looking like an evil villain. He gets energy after wearing the mask. He doesn't want to give his mask to others. He was also fearing that if the police will see him in this getup, they will arrest him while understanding him as the man who robbed the bank. So, why don't I make a fake mask for Stanley and make him arrest after wearing it? Now that man sends his companions to bring the money from Stanley's house which he has stolen from the bank. They do the same, but Stanley's dog was watching them secretly. It also sees its owner, means Stanley is tied in the car. When they go after taking the money, that dog also chasing them. They have tied Stanley and there was tape on his mouth. The bad friend of Tina had made a fake mask and put it in Stanley's pocket, so that when the police catch Stanley they will know that he is the green masked man. The companions of that bad man do the same, they throw Stanley in front of the police. The police also find the green mask from his pocket. So, they send him to jail. When Tina comes to know it, she goes to jail to meet Stanley. Stanley says to her, Tina, let me tell you everything truth, I am that man. It means the masked man, but the mask which I had is not the real mask. Your friend has the real mask and the mask will affect him as he thinks. I was pure-hearted and innocent, so there was its funny effect on me. But even then the thinking comes to me that I should do a robbery. And your friend is bad and he will become an evil man. He will rob the whole city, not only banks, and will destroy the whole city. You have to stop him. Tina says that how could I stop him? I am also leaving this city. But I realize that he is a gangster. I also realize my mistake. I will never face him. Saying this, she leaves from there. But her friend also knew that Tina will deceive me. He sends his men behind her. Few times before we have seen that when those bad men took Stanley there, his dog was also behind them. While searching for the way, it reaches Stanley. The guard there was sleeping and that dog takes the key from his pocket. It helps Stanley to open his cell. But then the police officer arrives there. Stanley points a gun at him. He comes out of jail while blackmailing him. On another side, those bad men have kidnapped Tina. Now Tina was her bad friend. That bad man wears that mask. His face turns strange and green. He goes to a bar from there. It was of a gangster. Tina's friend was jealous of him. That why he is a huge gangster than me. He was there to attack him, but that huge gangster starts shooting him. Tina's friend, who was now a masked man, at first absorbs all bullets in him. After it, he brings those bullets in his mouth and shoots at the gangster. Due to it, he dies. After it, that bad masked man ties Tina and fixes a time bomb in her. He says that you are running from here. Now run. Then Stanley also arrives there. When Tina's friend looks at him, Tina asks her to look at her. I realize my mistake. But even then, if you want to kill me, I want to see your face without this mask. Actually, Tina was trapping him. As Tina's friend puts off the mask, Tina hits that mask with her foot. It jumps in the sewer and then Stanley's dog catches that mask. That cute dog wears that mask. Now that cute dog wasn't looking less than a monster. It also does cute and funny actions. It starts killing the companions of the bad man, biting them and tearing their clothes. On another side, Stanley was punching that bad man. Stanley lifts his dog and says, Champion, come here. He says that now it is my turn to wear a mask. Here, his dog's face looks funny. With it, Stanley was about to wear that mask. But then the companions of the bad man arrive there. And they start shooting him. A bullet shoots at the mask and it falls at a far distance. But Stanley instantly goes there and comes after wearing the mask. Many bullets shoot at him, and when he drinks juice, the juice comes out of the bullet places. He speedily moves to Tina. He lifts that bomb and eats it. The timer of the bomb was completed and it explodes in his belly. But it doesn't harm him. When the bad man was coming to kill Stanley, he falls in the water. Now Stanley can do magic after wearing the mask. He makes a drawing on a tree. That was handle and flush was written on it. When he moves that handle, that bad man flushes away in the water and disappears from there, and after it, Stanley also saves Tina. The police arrived there and they were about to arrest Stanley. Then a man who was standing in the bar says that I am the mayor here. I have seen that Stanley is innocent and there is a bad man who will be here. So catch him. Then the police officer says that see that dog is taking that mask. Mayor says that this is your problem, you only see animals and can't arrest criminals. With it, the police spare Stanley. They start catching that bad man. The next morning, Stanley, Tina, his dog, and his friend come to the place from where he found that mask. Stanley and Tina were talking while standing there. Stanley was seeing that mask that I have done great tasks because of this mask. And I looked you down because you seem to like me in the mask. No, Tina believes that human nature is the best thing. I like you just the way you are. She drops the mask into the ocean, and the film concludes happily. Thank you for watching.